This is Weather or Not.
All right, welcome into the Wednesday edition of Weather or Not. Finally getting into a little more unsettled weather pattern here as we head through the rest of the week. Fingers crossed that a lot of folks can cash in on some downpours.
Yeah, scattered showers and storms becoming a little bit more likely. And let's go ahead and start with the three things you need to know. And that first alert as we transition here. One, some much needed rain with the ongoing drought.
Yes.
Hopefully for everyone at some point over the next couple of days.
Yes, but the thing is we're in kind of a summer pattern. Not a soaking rain for everybody that you tend to get in the winter and early spring. This is early summer type pattern where one part of the neighborhood gets dumped on, the other part of the neighborhood is left dry. So there are going to be some hits and misses. As I say, may the odds be in your favor to get hit.
Yeah, consider yourself a winner or a lucky one if you find underneath that downpour. And then for the weekend, still kind of a split pattern, some scattered showers and storms before things dry out. We'll get to that here in a second. But let's start with at least future radar and what you can expect, of course, for the rest of the day and this week. It's going to be afternoon showers and storms. That's the big story. And what's really critical this time of year, too, Jamie, how far inland does the sea breeze want to work will kind of dictate who picks up on what.
Yeah, I think that sea breeze is going to be really critical to the development of storms today, where that sea breeze sets up as we head into that 1, 2, 3 o'clock time frame. A lot of times we can see storms firing on the sea breeze and then kind of propagating their way inland. We'll kind of see how this unfolds, but I tell you what, if it were to unfold like this, that would be great news because of the severe drought that continues for the South Strand down into Georgetown County. That's where most of the action is focused today, which would certainly be nice. Notice it looks like, at least on this run of Future Radar, the PD kind of misses out on some of that action. We'll turn quieter overnight tonight, but there's still going to be another opportunity as we head into tomorrow, although potentially not quite as much.
Yeah, we'll probably lower that, and we said this earlier too, even this morning and yesterday and the weeks and days coming. Our atmosphere doesn't have a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So it uses a lot today, probably less storms tomorrow and vice versa. But you'll notice as we go into tomorrow afternoon, still some off and on showers and storms. And I think it's all going to be dependent on how much sunshine do we have and how much of that wants to fire off through the afternoon. Today, a big component, the sea breeze. Tomorrow, maybe not so much. Welcome to that early summer type feel here in the Carolinas.
Yeah, but at least it's not a one day and done setup. So if you miss today, we've got another opportunity for Thursday. We'll nudge those rain chances back down, mainly inland, I think, heading into the day Friday. And then Saturday, we'll start to bring those rain chances back up as our next cold front starts to move in. But even Saturday, not a washout. Mainly some afternoon storms.
Yeah, kind of a breath of fresh air and another revitalization of some showers on Saturday. And finally, the GFS is kind of off of its craziness.
Yeah.
I think this is a general good rule, half an inch to an inch for those that pick up on rain. There will still be some that are less than that over the course of the 4 days.
And if you get lucky with a couple of repeated downpours or a slow moving downpour, you may get a little bit more, but that's pretty decent model consistency there on how much rain we may see, as Andrew mentioned there, about 1/2 to 1 inch of rain. And of course, we need that. Again, there's that little pocket of severe drought. The 3% of South Carolina that's in severe drought is right here in our own backyard, Myrtle Beach down to Georgetown and McClellanville. That is the area that really needs rain. Of course, all of us do with moderate drought across most of the area. Hopefully we can focus the best of those downpours, again, where things are the driest. Let's talk about that weekend forecast. You mentioned a little bit of a split. First half, a little bit stormy late Saturday afternoon, but still not a washout.
Yeah, it's certainly not going to be a bad weekend by any means. Weekend plans are looking great, and you might have to move indoors briefly for Saturday. Sunday looks fantastic. We'll get a little bit of calmer and more comfortable weather Sunday and into Monday next week. Also want to reiterate too, and we said it this morning, that drought monitor that comes out this week will not have the rain we pick up on. So drought could worsen before we actually see a next update next week. But we're here giving you the first alert to April showers. Let's go ahead and talk about today's weather workshop because it cycles all around that. You hear the term a lot, April showers bring May flowers. How true that is in the Carolinas, meteorologist Matt Bullock has the first alert.
Fact or fiction? Do April showers bring May flowers? And looking at the average monthly rainfall totals here along the Grand Strand, the rainiest month of the year is actually September, followed by August with a little over 6 inches of rain. April here along the Grand Strand is actually the driest month of the year. But what about the PD? Well, April's also the driest month of the year for the PD, followed by November and October. But the rainiest month here across the PD is August and July with near about 5 inches of rain. So why is April so dry here across the Grand Strand, the PD? And here's why. The jet stream typically shifts a little bit more north, bringing that moisture across the mid-Atlantic, Midwest, and the Northeast. While for us, we start to see those drier conditions and not seeing that much humidity. With low humidity, it's not enough moisture to produce those pop-up showers and thunderstorms that we see typically during the summertime as temperatures are warmer. Matt Bullock, WNBF News.
Growing up, that was a true fact in Kentucky. It rained all the time, especially with Derby coming up.
Yeah.
April and May were some of the wettest periods in Kentucky, so complete opposite here in the Carolinas, but a good thought that, hey, we're in the drought. Things will always balance themselves out as we go into the summer.
Yeah, and it's sort of a fun fact, that spike in rainfall in August and September in the Grand Strand, the PD, that's pretty obvious where that comes from. Those averages get skewed way up because of the big rain that we can get from tropical storms and hurricanes. There's been some Septembers around here where we've picked up 25 inches of rain.
Oof.
Yeah, that'll skew that average way on up there.
That'll help with the drought conditions. Let's take you coast to coast, shall we? And it's not only the Carolinas, but also it's going to be portions of the Southeast that are just holding on to shower chances. Not a big weather maker as we go into your Thursday. You'll notice some clouds, and honestly, the best chance for storms going to be across the Alabama-Georgia border there. They'll deal with the low-end chance of a strong to severe storm. Temperatures kind of reminding us more of that early summer feel, especially as you work down into Florida. Yeah, starting to see some 90s become a little bit more common there in the Southeast.
Yeah, and seeing those 80s creeping up into South Georgia and Louisiana. Locally, clouds going to keep our temperatures held down a bit into the upper 70s to near 84 tomorrow. Into the Northeast we go. It's not too bad. The front that is kind of sitting across our area, bringing some drier air and some cooler temperatures there across the Northeast. You get up into New England, could be a shower or thunderstorm there with temperatures kind of seasonable. Finally starting to warm up there in Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont, 50s and 60s, 70s elsewhere as we take you into Pennsylvania, down into Virginia.
I can tell you they're loving the forecast there. Let's continue as we go, and we'll take you out to the Midwest. And all is relatively calm, especially across Indiana and Illinois. You'll go into the forecast, some spotty afternoon pop-up showers and storms. We talked about how Kentucky gets a lot of rain in April, and you'll see some showers on Thursday. Temperature-wise, kind of nice. In fact, I was talking to the parents. They said they've been loving the weather. It's been their first true warm-up with upper 70s and low 80s across the Ohio River in that area.
All right, taking you into the upper Midwest. This is where the more organized action is. Even some snow up there across Montana, Wyoming. Some of that tries to sneak into the Dakotas as our next system kind of ejects out of the Rockies into the middle part of the country. Could be some big boomers there east of Denver heading into tomorrow afternoon. A couple of those storms from Des Moines into Cedar Rapids area of Iowa down into northern Missouri, with temperatures a little bit cooler here across the middle part of the country, generally into the 60s. For those high temperatures heading into Thursday.
Oh, I would take the 60s right now. Let's go out to the West Coast where, once again, a little bit more of that quiet forecast across California and Oregon. You'll notice some clouds will thicken up on Thursday. You actually won't pick up on any rain until the weekend for most of those spots on the West Coast with that system there in the horizon, but 70s out there on the West Coast. 73 in Medford. You're talking 77 in Portland. Some warmth down there, 86 in Las Vegas, 71 in Salt Lake City. Speaking of temperatures, let's take you to our temperature extremes. No strangers to our extremes.
Two returning champions here. Rio Grande Valley down in Texas, 103, and Peter Sinks, Utah, the cold air sink that it is, 6.
I'm done with winter. We've had a great winter. I'm ready for, let's get to the summertime and let's warm things up.
You can forget that 6. At this point, I'm done. Even as the staunchest winter weather lover, by April, I'm done with it.
And of course, something we've been talking about across our area for a while, and even seeing some wildfires off to the northeast. Let's take you into today in weather history. You remember this too well, Jamie.
Yeah, April 22nd and 23rd, 2009, the costliest wildfire in South Carolina state history, basically burned through all of the Lewis Bay Heritage Preserve thanks to very dry spring, a very dry April, and a lot of wind that day. This was another debris burn that was initially thought to be out, but that debris burn ended up spreading there near Highway 90 and led to just an incredible scene with over 20,000 acres burning, and the smoke plume from that fire just dwarfed Myrtle Beach and the Grand Strand. It actually behaved a lot like the fire that we had this spring in Carolina Forest, in that it flared up during the afternoon. As the sun went down, it kind of seemed like the fire was calming down a little bit. Things were looking a bit better, but much like we had in March, a cold front came through during the overnight hours. It picked the winds back up. That fire just exploded, and that is when it jumped over 31, jumped over Highway 22, and ended up moving into Barefoot Landing, with 76 houses burned to nothing, 97 additional houses damaged from that fire. And I think it was about 4,000 people ended up evacuating.
Oof.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And wildfire season will continue, of course, across the East Coast and even our area until we could get some beneficial and substantial rain. We need a good soaking rain.
Yeah.
Good reminder, that thing is still burning underground as we speak.
Yes.
So we'll have that and, of course, keep you posted on that wildfire threat. Let's end today with our favorite segment, See It, Snap It, Send It. It's been a while. How about Patty capturing the double rainbow here?
Yeah, this was the last time we had some downpours move through, closing in on 2 weeks now. But as those storms pushed out, beautiful rainbow. There were a lot of rainbow pictures that came in there. That was a Friday evening, I believe, an absolutely stunning view there of that rainbow. They also, as those storms pushed off the coast, produced a brilliant mammatus display, one of my absolute favorite clouds from Debbie Matter coming in. The sun setting, that storm pulling out over the Atlantic, and you can see those kind of pouches on the backside of that storm. Those are those mammatus clouds.
Oh, always a good sight too, especially when you get a strong thunderstorm in summer. Oh, Debbie, thank you for sending your photos. And of course, if you want to, you can send your photos to us. Maybe it's your plans or how you're enjoying that warmth, that early summer warmth. Scan the QR code. It'll take you to our First Alert Weather app. And at the bottom of that app, you could send us your photos. And who knows, you might see your photos here on See It, Snap It, Send It. We may show it on Weather or Not. Feels good to be back here.
It does. It does. We'll have a whole new round of pictures for tomorrow. Hopefully on tomorrow's show, we've got a list of some impressive rain totals that fall from the rainfall out there. Also a closer look at the weekend. Now that the Easter holiday weekend is behind us, we're getting back into a lot of events taking place this weekend. So we'll start breaking down that weekend forecast. That's all coming up on tomorrow's episode of Weather or Not. We'll see you then.